Okay. Welcome to the How to Health podcast. I'm Dr. Lori Marvis, and today I'm here with Sam Grantham. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
It's so good for you to be with us today. And he is a founder of the Whole Health Club. It's a gym with a kitchen and has a really cool, unique philosophy on how to get people well. And I just can't wait to dive into that. But first, let's get to know Sam. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey and how you became a founder of a gym with a kitchen and plant-based and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I grew up with my parents owning businesses. So I kind of just thought that's what people were supposed to do. I was like, right? You go through life, you start something and you run it, and that's what it is. And I started to realize that's very few people do that. Starting a t-shirt company in high school or an apparel company, I always call those starter companies that every entrepreneur tries at some point, sell some t-shirts, make some money, go to college, sell some clothes, make some money. But I was never passionate about it. Like, I love selling, love the business. And so long story short, I was going to Michigan State University with my cousin and co-founder Chase Parker, and at his then time girlfriend, now wife, Paige Rogers. We were close-knit friends. And he was on the football team and played there. I watched, I didn't play. But we were roommates, so we were always doing stuff together. And then he ended up moving to Florida after he graduated because he got a job offer for the University of Florida as a strength coach. And so I'm going to college, pretending that I'm, going to graduate and I'm doing it. And I'm just trying a bunch of stuff. And call Chase and I go, man, I need to get out of here. Florida, Michigan's cold, Florida's hot. Let's do this. And he goes, cool, man, yeah, let's do it. And when I get down there, he introduces me to, all of a sudden, my meat-eating, carnivorous, football-playing cousin goes, dude, I'm plant-based. I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, what do you even mean? And I was so ignorant, and I don't use that word as a bad thing. I just didn't know. And I'm a Midwest guy, so, I'm giving him all the jock stereotype, make fun of, like, you're going to be a girl. Like, what about me? And he goes, just read this. And gave me the China study. And so I read it, and I was like, holy crap. But then I tried to poke holes in it. And he goes, well, just read this, and would hand me another piece of information. A lot of times using nutritionfacts.org, Dr. Greger's website, incredible. And eventually I ran out of things to question. I was just like, holy crap. So I was starting to go plant-based, and it took me a little bit of a transition. I hung on to fish. We lived in Florida. I was making great excuses about it. But about 6 months in, I was plant-based, and I didn't like vegetables. So like when I told my parents and family, and they were like, you, the hot dogs and Cheerios eating kid, you're plant-based. So it was fun. And what that honestly led to was I was in college, and I just really didn't know what I wanted to do. And he was like, I had to get a job. He was like, dude, come work at the gym I'm at. He had started working in a private gym. And I was like, I don't know how to train. He goes, you worked out your whole life. Dude, I'll teach you. All right, whatever. It's better pay than the fast food job I was going to get. So I get the job, and I fall in love with it. I get the first text from a client that says, hey, Sam, I'm in that pair of pants we talked about. Haven't been in since my 20s. I'm like, I got paid to do that. Like, that's super cool. I didn't think you get paid, and get anything out of it besides, just financial gain. I didn't know I could feel good. So that was incredible. And started to get weird. We were having so much success, Chase and Paige alike. We losing 70 pounds in 4 months, 200 in a year, crazy weight loss. Like, why are we doing this so much better? And it was our philosophy, and it was plant-based, and it was eating more plants. Now, we were doing this in North Florida, so you might as well be in Mississippi or Alabama, right? And stroke belt. So, and we were killing it, and it was awesome. And so we started to develop this plan for this gym with the kitchen, because clients would make excuses about cooking with us at their house. Oh, my kids, or it's messy. So we started planning it, and we owned a gym down there with another partner, and he was content with his one gym. And so we left amicably, separated ways, and we moved back home, went to the basement for about 2 months, and wrote business plans and did what we had to do, scouted locations, and then packed up everything we owned and drove out to Colorado, and got a bunch of jobs as entrepreneurs too, and then opened up our first facility, Whole Health Club, the gym with the kitchen, where I always like to say, we have a purpose and a mission statement that we live by, and our purpose is to eliminate lifestyle diseases, the leading cause of death. And we're going to do that through our mission statement of making healthy simple. right now health is just this gamut of complexity, and I think that's what makes it so hard. So long story short, the way I got into it was I was dragged into it by my cousin. I scoffed and questioned every aspect of life when he told me that. I was like, don't know what you're talking about. Fast forward 6 years later, I'm happily plant-based for 6 years. I've never felt better. I've been, lucky enough to be able to run, a marathon plant-based. So for all you think you're going to die, you're not. And so that's kind of my journey into plant-based. Definitely stemmed through Chase and me moving down in with it.
Well, now I'm curious. So you have Chase, your cousin, who was, the football player, the stereotypical jock, moves to Florida, North Florida. Where did he come across the plant-based diet?
So, I'm a geek about business. I love learning about it. Chase is a geek about the human body, physiologically, kinesiology, any of it, but, how we're interacting nutritionally. So I think he just started to see a few mentions of people someone we like a lot is the no meat athlete, Matt Frazier, and so we started seeing who's this guy? And we started hearing Carl Lewis is vegan. You start hearing the name, you go to search it, and T. Colin Campbell's book, The China Study, is just, comes up everywhere. It's might as well be the base Bible every other book's written off of.
It's a book I found first. Yep.
Right. Most people do. I love it. How Not to Die is also incredible. But so he found that book and read it and was like, dude, I'm going to do this 30 days cold turkey. Okay, crazy. And so for him, it was an easier transit. Well, easier, right? It only took him 30 days because he just went cold turkey. And then he started getting all these results, his body fat, resting body fat, just dropped 4%, and he got to walk around with a six-pack. Granted, he works out a lot for any of you watching or listening, but even working out a lot doesn't get you there. And what he found was this is an easy way to maintain. So again, the China Study roped him in, and and then every other book after, right? You can name them in succession: How Not to Die, Start, Solution, Pole, The Cheese Trap. We've read them all now, and just further convinces us.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's fun to see because all three of my kids are plant-based now and my husband, but it's, they're walking around, the boys, and they're just super trim, lifting weights, super strong. I love it so much. That is so cool. This is so exciting because I'm a runner, so I've done tons of races. So that is fascinating. So tell me about the kitchen, because the kitchen is really, I know we know the gym, you get personal training, we go and all that, but tell me how you are incorporating this kitchen. Is there cooking classes, your chef? Tell us about that, because that's just really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So our kitchen, again, I just tell all of our trainers, I go, that's the best tool we can give you. The best piece of equipment I can give you in a gym is that kitchen, if you want to be a good trainer. So we always look at it like that, as it's a tool. It's something to make you better, not something to fear. And so going to the kitchen, Kayla Jacob, she's a chef, went to Johnson & Wales here locally in Denver. So classically trained. Unfortunately, they don't teach plant-based there, but she's been plant-based for, I want to say 3.5, 4 years now. So she took those skills and translated them into plant-based pretty easily. So she runs a lot of it. And right now, the main uses for our kitchen are during the week, Wednesdays and Fridays, we do prep days. Because, when you go on plant-based, you open your fridge, it may be full of stuff, but you don't see it as full of stuff because there's no steak in it and you don't know what to eat now. So I'll give you an example of a week. We'll prep grains on Wednesday. And so we'll give them 3 grains, 3 recipes of what they're used for, how to make them stay and last, if they need to freeze them, this, that, and the other. And then on Friday, we'll make maybe nut-based cheeses. And so then what I tell my clients is you got these 3 creamy additives, we'll call them cheese, and you have these 3 grains. You can make an endless amount of meals with those combinations, and then all you need at home is a veggie. So if you have a veggie at home, the prep for your dinner is literally chopping up 1 veggie, cooking it however which way you like. We're all oil-free, so we don't teach them with oil. It depends on the type of client if I'll let them use oil or tell them that it's okay in moderation. Generally, it's not because they're usually weight loss. So then for dinner, they don't really have an excuse. They've had grains ready, they have sauces ready. All you have to do is cut up some broccoli and steam it and throw it in there. And now you have, or what I like to do is also add a can of beans, rinsed first. And then you have, a grain, a veggie, a bean, and a sauce. And what we tell people is that's the new chicken. Okay, so if you're eating chicken every meal, swap that out for grain, bean, veggie, sauce. And literally thousands of meals can be made from that combination. So that's a big base for us on the middle of the week. Then you get to Saturday, we have fun classes, I like to call them. We'll do sushi rolling, or we'll do pasta, or, we'll do stuffed shells, or, more one recipe based, hands-on. This isn't to make your life easier. This is to teach you something new and maybe do it as a date night. And then we actually teamed up with another chef on Thursday, and she comes in and cooks. And her name's Kelly Williamson, the plant-based kitchenista. She's awesome. And so we do like food bars with her. So it'll be like a taco bar. It'll be like a waffle bar. It'll be whatever. And we'll do it plant-based and healthy, which is great for families. So right now, that's kind of how we use our kitchen.
So your kitchen is prepping food. So the clients just come in the evening and eat dinner there, or they're going home and making this food, or you're giving them? How exactly is that interaction?
Yeah, so they're prepping the food. They come in on Wednesday and do it themselves, because what our whole thing is I know an awesome lot of meal services that they can have delivered to their house if, time is more valuable than money. I would say the majority of people I deal with, money is more valuable than their time, or at least in their head. So if I can teach them to learn how to prep and say, you know how to do it, not only do they walk away with food that day, they walk away with that newfound skill of how to prep barley, which maybe most of my clients have never even used in their life, if it's not rice or pasta.
So they're working out, but they're also in the kitchen being taught how to cook.
On separate days, right? So those are group classes done with 8 people at a time, with our chef. Now, all of our trainers have the ability to cook or work out with our clients as long as they schedule beforehand. So if they want a one-on-one personalized cooking session to how to feed their family of 5, they get that in any personal training package they have. They just need, the standard, like we need 24-hour notice to get food and standard stuff. But they're prepping it. Everything's hands-on. Like we're not here to do stuff for them. That's what we always tell them. I go, you got a kitchen at home. Right now you're scared of it. And that kitchen is the number one tool to make you healthy in your house. It's not the medicine cabinet. It's not, even the treadmill. It's your kitchen. So let's stop running from it and start loving it and use it. And again, our chef's amazing at that. She's just loves cooking so much that when people leave there, they love it.
Cool. Yeah. Wow. So Wednesdays and Fridays are your group classes.
Yeah, group prep days. Those are for generally for our clients or members. People that need accountability and help and want to transition.
Okay, and then you have these others. So when you're saying these food bars, are people coming and going like a restaurant type thing, or is it a group thing too?
Group thing. So we're actually teaching them to make the food bar.
Okay.
So they have all this. They go, we get this all the time. Hey, I got family coming in town, and they're from whatever name a middle American state. We'll use Michigan. That's where I'm from. They're from Michigan. So this whole plant-based thing, guys, they don't know anything about. So what can I do so I can stick to my thing and appease them? Because we're usually people pleasers, and people aren't willing to feed their guests their plant-based meals. So we show them a plant-based meal that any guest would be cool with. That ain't like a taco bar. You just don't put the meat out, or you use jackfruit, or you make a pulled pork bar and, let them make all those types of sandwiches. So that's where those come in a lot, is where we love those.
Oh, wow. Cool. So now I saw one of your videos with kiddos somewhere in there. So you guys do teaching with kids. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, starting young, right? Like for me, I hated vegetables. If you would have forced them down my gullet when I was younger, or if I made it, because, I was a very about me type of dude when I was younger. If I made it, I'd have ate it no matter what. So we actually, with Natural Grocers, who's here locally, we go to there and we run kids classes and, plenty of protein classes. And that one's fun because they show up and there's no meat. There's no traditional protein sources. So they're like, where's all the protein? So we go there and do those too as well.
That is so cool. And then you also, I saw one of your videos that you were with someone going to get their blood work for the first day of like a 30-day challenge. Tell us what that's about.
Yeah, so that's actually, he's a new team member that is, works with us in our sales, and a longtime friend of mine. And he came out here for Paige and Chase's wedding. They got married in May, and he stepped on a scale in our gym, and I think the number freaked him out. And he had never been that big, and he was the sales guy. And if you meet salespeople, they got a tough life. It's go, 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 go. eat when you can, have a lot of beers with clients. And so I think it scared him, and he called me about a week later and was like, dude, I got to get on this plant-based thing. Like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, I'm quitting my job. I want to move out there and do this with you guys. And we're like, bring it on. Come on, let's do it. And so he came out here, and I go, first, to be a part of the company, man, you got to learn about this lifestyle. Like, that's crucial to us. And he bought in. So we went and got his blood tested. And we have some content coming out, when he's done on a 3-month journey. And so when that 3 month is up, you guys will see him. We've already posted one after picture of him, down significant weight and significant in his, abdomen region, a lot of weight off. And the scary part was that he had high triglycerides, and he's 26 years old. They were above the at-risk range. I can't remember the exact number they were, which we'll probably post at some point when we go get it. And we could have went a week later, and I know his triglycerides would have been down because I know what he's eating because feeding him all his food. So, so it's going to be exciting to see that. And also, like, at the same time, to let people know, like, if the 26-year-old's triglycerides are too high, and he's very standard. He's more of the average American than he is now. And so that's where that kind of stems from, going to get his blood work. And with our members, once a month, we bring in like an on-site little health fair. And whether that on-site is kind of us just doing your body fat, or body composition, measurements, weight, and maybe some tests or blood pressure. We will also occasionally bring in, some sort of Quest labs, to get their blood work done. So that monthly we could just do that for them and offer that to them. And then, kind of the proof's in the pudding. One thing we're pretty positive we can do is, most gym members, go to the gym often and are still very unhealthy. I want people to see that the more you attend my facility, the more likely it is your cholesterol is in a normal range, the more likely it is your triglycerides are. So as well as weight, that's important, but weight's a byproduct of health, in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious about your favorite success stories. Because you guys have been around for over a year now, so share a little bit with what you've seen.
Yeah, so I have some, odd favorite success stories. I mean, we've had the guys that have come in and, 40 pounds in 3 months and got their goals and left and happy and love it. But we have these two clients that I'm particularly fond of. They work so hard. They're mother-daughter team. And so Crystal, the mother, came into us before, and she was at ends. She couldn't move the way she wanted, and she was too young to not be able to do so. She was overweight, stressed a lot, and she had done a lot. She lost 100 and some pounds before on Slim Jennings. So something we kind of both know that's a very temporary way to do it, and she found that out the hard way. And so she came in, and she went from she couldn't get up and down on her own power, and now she's doing like high box step-ups and push-ups and planks on the ground and getting up, and it's just like nothing. She's lost weight, don't get me wrong, that's been great too. We've got her blood work, and her cholesterol's in her normal range. Things have dropped, she's on no medications. She's still got ways to go, and she knows that, but she loved it and loved the atmosphere. She brought her daughter in, who's 24, paralegal, studying to go to law school. So this chick is a 24-year-old who's got a lot on her plate, and she comes in here and gets after it and works so hard. And again, a 24-year-old girl in Colorado in traditional America, and she went plant-based as well. They both did. And their last name is Santisteban. They come from a Latin family, which is a big excuse I get. Culturally, guys, I can't do this. We get that out of their heads right away, but the rest of their family's not getting it out of their heads. And that's often. I'll get to it. It seems like a roundabout. I'll get why it's my favorite story. And then Lexi just keeps doing it, right? She's 24, so she crushes it. And the other day, I weighed her in. She was, stressed out beyond belief, doing her LSATs, which if y'all haven't taken a crazy standardized test, it's about the hardest as it gets, or as, nerve-wracking. Maybe the bar might be one up. And she had hit all of her goals. She's down 34 pounds. She went from 164 to 130. And she didn't even know. I pulled out the scale, and she was fired up. And what I love about that is she wasn't fired up about the number. She was fired up to do it because she had made the right decisions on her own. So it wasn't a scary thing anymore. The scale isn't scary. As a man, I don't have the same relationship with the scale. And Paige has taught me that women get the short end of the stick when it comes to the scale. But what I even loved about that more was the next day she came in to work out and she fired up and she told me, she goes, we had a family barbecue. Those are always hard times for her because they're eating the same stuff they did. Crystal's husband cooks the same way. Lexi, her son, Lexi's brother, they eat the same. They eat meat. They still think they got to eat meat to be tough. I'll show them later. They don't. But what I loved was the husband, DJ, awesome guy, who's also a business owner. He went to the fridge and pulled out their veggies and got the veggie broth and no oil and grilled them up veggies without even saying anything. And to me, that's the ultimate support. That's what people don't understand, is that when they show their family that this is what they want to do and that they're committed, people want to help people. They often go, well, now I got to make 2 meals, this, that. And, I just see more wives do it than husbands, but it goes for both. But ask your significant other. I think a lot of times people feel overwhelmed and they're like, well, I got to come home and I got to do the dishes and I got to cook and I'll just go ahead. Have you asked John if he'll do the dishes? And they're like, well, no. I go, I'm willing to bet John, I've met him, he's a nice guy, he's going to do it. Or in this case, DJ, which he already did. He did the veggies. So that was my favorite story that we have currently. They did lose weight and they are getting healthier, but it was about them, being able to live separate lives and, separate in eating lives, if you will, and still support each other. And Crystal does still go to the store and buy him meat, and I'll tell her to be hard on him. I go, make them buy it themselves, make them work for it. But we'll get there. But I just love that. So when I see a family unit come together, I know there's long-term success there, and that's important, is that isolation's gone. So those two are, and they've been here since, I call it Crystal, my OG. She's been here since our doors opened.
Wow.
And gone through a lot of iterations of us, changing the facility around or adding this type of class and this, and she's been here and crushes it. So that's probably my favorite story right now.
Yeah, those are really fun ones. One of my favorite, actually, in Rifle, Colorado, when I was still there, was we lived in Parachute. I don't know if you know where Parachute is.
I don't.
It's over towards Grand Junction.
Okay.
I started in Rifle, plant-based, did a bunch of stuff, went to Grand Junction. Anyway, I started a lifestyle medicine clinic there. And one of my favorite stories, she was another Hispanic female. She had lost 40 pounds. Okay, granted, feels better, stomach pain, all that. That's normal stuff. People get well. You're like, this is so it's not a miracle, people. This is just happening. But the cool thing was, she said, she had a wedding to go to. She used to walk into dressing rooms and cry because she hated looking at herself in the mirror, and it just devastated her. And she'd usually just storm out and be upset and not buy anything. What was incredible was, Dr. Marv is at the end of it was a 15-week program. I not only lost weight, but I bought 3 dresses. I loved how I looked. But her husband was also very successful in helping her and the kids and the transition. And now she wants to teach people how to do this in this Hispanic community, which is really lacking.
Yes.
And so that, again, those ripple effects, those are really, really cool. Yeah.
That's right. I feel like how many people, when you learn about it, it's hard not to just go shout it from the rooftop. You're like, I feel obligated. I'm guilty if I don't. So I have to do my best, when I'm seeing someone drink milk, just to be like, all right, they don't know. It's not their fault. Let them drink their milk. Approach them on a different turn. Because I just feel like I should. I'm like, no, don't do that. You should know more. But, well, for me, I know exactly what you're saying. Because I see it as a death. Yes.
So I was when you see people who literally are dying in front of you because of what they're consuming, and they don't have to be a type 2 diabetic. They don't have to have hypertension. They don't have to have achy joints and not sleep and be tired and not be able to participate in their children's lives or each other's lives. It's just, it's unfathomable to me why someone wouldn't share that message. And it's incredible. But I had a doctor also in Grand Junction, and she'd been diabetic for several years. She was on insulin for over 5. I was on her all the time. I saw her all the time, every day. You have to go to a plant-based diet. I'm sure you'll get better. And as she saw her patients come and see me get better. You have to do it. 9 months later, she finally fine, I'll do it for 6 weeks. Will you leave me alone after that? I'm like, prove me wrong. I have yet to be proven wrong in all these years, but hey, prove me wrong. And was off her insulin in 5 days, lost all this weight, got better. And she goes, Lori, I don't understand. I understand why you want to share this with everybody. I just, like you said, want to get on the rooftop and share that with everybody. And I was like, well, tell me what it was that kept you from doing this. Use that understanding, because for me, I did it overnight. I'm such an easy, if you show me the evidence, I'm like, okay, let's go. But apparently some people just have to be really, I don't know. It's just, that's my one thing I'm really working on now is the positive psychology and the mindset and what makes people change. That is, I'm really fascinated by it. So I'm interviewing all these experts and learning about it. It's really intriguing, the human behavior component in the mind.
Yeah. So to go with that, we have some tricks and a philosophy of why we started the way we did that go to that, to help convince people, because it is such an abrasive, tension-filled conversation a lot of times. And we've had great success with our family. We went from one plant-based option at my first vegan family one to there was only one meat-based option that I couldn't eat a year later.
Wow.
It's a family of about 25 people that come to Thanksgiving every year. And I would say 20 of them are diehard plant-based people now. 5 of them flirt with it.
Share with me your conversation and what that is. What does that conversation look like?
Well, so one thing is I've always been athletic, right? I've been in sports, and my family knew that about me. Chase, the same way, a little higher degree than me, obviously getting to play at Michigan State. So we've always kind of been, the athletes in our family, and people, they would ask us for workout tips, right? They would, how do I do a squat, Sam, or this, that, and the other. And so it was almost a natural progression that once we learned about plant-based, we introduced it as that. As, hey guys, it's a weight loss. And so the gym concept, and this goes into our family ones, I could get more detailed, but my main reason for starting the gym is one, I love it. I do think it's a great atmosphere, but it's because right now, if I ask any doctor in America, arguably on planet Earth, is exercise good for someone's health? With this disease, this, that, and the other? Yes, it is. If I go to the layman's, the consumers that they're not supposed to be educated on nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, because they have other jobs, they're accountants. So no numbers, it's not your job to know this. And I go, hey, if you wanted to lose some weight, what's the first thing you would do? Well, I'd probably go to the gym. Or they look down and they got maybe a belly they don't want. And the first thing their thought is, all right, I should get moving. Not I should eat better. It's never that. That's like the secondary. Sometimes if you get lucky, and I'm generalizing. But the gym is the accepted modality, if you will, to get healthy. And our philosophy is, I don't really care if you're CrossFit, Orange Theory, yoga, Pilates. Are you moving? And how do you like to move? And keep doing more of it. Now, I know there's more modalities that are better than others. Weightlifting is better for weight loss than some other things, but if you're not going to do it, it's not better. And so what we did was, we're going to trick, the whole world into coming to be a part of this sexy, sustainable whole health club that looks awesome, and it has a kitchen, and it's so nice, and there's physician's assistants on site, and it's beautiful. But little do they know, they're getting inundated with plant-based on a daily basis. When they ask their trainer how to cook chicken, our trainer tells them how to cook chickpeas. So instead of having to be this approach like Beyond Meat, if you put Beyond Meat in Nebraska and try to sell it at a vendor fair or give it away, they're going to run from it because it sounds fake. They don't know what it is. And what we're here to do is, I'm here like, no, bro, it's a burger. It's actually better for you than the regular one, but it's a transition food. You just start with this till you get to black bean burgers. And so we're going to be that driving force that, hey, all we are is a gym, guys. We're nothing crazy. And little do they know, we're much more than a gym. We're a preventative health facility. And they don't know. So I kind of use the same technique with my family. I approach them on their level, what they're comfortable with. And then I also tell them, well, hey, after a workout, it's going to be great to get a baked potato, get that extra starch carb right after, and instead of a protein shake, now they're eating a potato after the workout. And, fast forward 5 years later, now they're eating potatoes all the time. And they're not all the way. I mean, they still live in the Midwest. So, but the way our whole health club philosophy is, plant-based begins at half your calories coming from plants. And it ends with you eating all plants. And I don't really care where you are in between. I'm very pragmatic about our goals with Whole Health Club. I can get people to consume a majority plant-based diet. I've done everything that the ethical vegans want. I've done everything that the health vegans want. I've done everything that the environmental vegans want. So I think that approach tends to why we're using a gym and why we're doing this. And then my opinion is, I just go out and partner with these great companies. And I be the education resource, because when Ripple Milk comes out, that community needs to know what the heck it is. Otherwise, they're not going to use it.
Right.
So I want to be that bridge gap, and that's why we use the gym, because it's approachable. So, and that's our philosophy with our, just mix it in with the other advice everybody's been given. Like, don't make it seem like this new crazy ideal, because it's not, as we know, with studies going back to the 40s or early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
That's been ours. And it's also easy to guilt, I'm here to say guilt your family, guilt the crap out of them, because you're only helping them. Like, people get nervous to do that. Like, I had a grandma die of heart attack. I tell all my women in my family, you remember how grandma died? Like, you don't have to be like that. And that's my family. Don't go guilt strangers. That's a bad idea. Family. But that's how I look at it.
Right.
I'm also a little aggressive.
Well, I mean, you and I are kind of the same cloth, I think. So, even the gladiators, weren't they vegetarian? I mean, that's what
barley men, right? That's what.
Barley men.
Yeah, again, and be the example is the other thing I can say. My dad, as a stubborn dude, he always ate good, right? He never had a weight problem, so he didn't change fast. And I'm always trying stuff. So he's like, "Oh, there's Sam telling me about another thing that, like I don't know if you know Bitcoin, but I was on Bitcoin before I even knew what it was, but I was sure it was something. I didn't know. But this I knew. And I think it took us partnering and reaching out and having some meetings with some pretty cool people for him to realize, okay, he's for real this time. This is something, and he hasn't looked back since he went plant-based. But it was living it. I'm starting my life based on this. I eat like this. I tell people about it. I talk to Dr. Lori Marvis about it, and I think that influences it a lot.
Right, absolutely. So that's incredible. So I'm really curious about how you plan on growing this, because you had mentioned a medical component somehow doing that, growing, and you want to be the front, that interaction with people. So what is your ultimate desire? What would be, if you had this, everybody knew, what would that be? What's your vision? So
when it happens, right, I'm all about win here. There's going to be a whole health club in every major city in the world. And you start with the friendlier ones. So Colorado's a great area. They're open to new ideas. They're a fit state. This one that we have right now, we've already in a year, we've already turned profit. So it's going in the right direction, and we're adding, a few different components that are going to, hopefully increase that as well. So we go from here, and a big component is we are talking with people that, would be investors, would be great partners, would, sit well on a board of advisors, things like that as well, to make sure this concept is solid and backed by people that, have the rapport in multiple industries. But the main way to grow it is we're going to move so right now we have a 2,700 square foot facility, about, 1,000 square feet smaller than I wanted, but beggars can't be choosers. And so we got it. It's awesome. I love it. I think it's an incredible facility. And what we do from there is we open up another one, whether it be a 7,000 square foot facility closer to Metro Denver, or we can get the one we want, which would be a 10 to 12,000 square foot facility. So it'd be a large scale membership facility where you'd have either, a nurse, physician's assistant, someone on site to give them what we would just call monthly checkups. Mm-hmm. So there'd be a reimbursement line set up. And so instead of going to your doctor, which everybody hates hospitals, sorry, doctor. It's just they're a place of unhealth.
I'm not a fan of doctors either. It's all good.
Right. And I like doctors that, do extra research and teach you what food to eat. I think those are awesome doctors, because then they know way more than me, on top of all the medical knowledge they have. But, long story short, hospitals aren't sexy, right? And I use the word sexy as I mean attractive, alluring, people want to be a part of.
Right.
And so, our three main core values are service, simplicity, and sustainability. And so I think right now, sustainability is hot, right? The new generation wants a Tesla, not a Ferrari. And I think that's a big difference. And Ferrari's still nicer than a Tesla. I'm sorry, Tesla, but we want the Tesla. I'm one of them.
Right.
And I think that's because people see the value in sustainability. We brag about our jeans that are eco-friendly instead of our jeans that got diamonds on them. And I think that's really cool. So I think creating the simplest way to health, which is more plants. I don't care. Explain that a million different ways. More plants. It's as simple as it gets. Sustainable. That means not only is our company going to be built on a sustainable model Our carbon footprint's going to be small thanks to the food that we teach people to eat, which makes us one of the most sustainable facilities. But we will have solar panels. We will have other things that make us carbon neutral. But also, our methods are sustainable. If I'm telling you to be plant-based, you can be born and die on a plant-based diet extremely healthy. Mm-hmm. When people go on diets and gyms, you can't live that way. If you calorically restricted a baby, you'd go to jail. If you put a baby on a ketogenic diet from birth, you go to Child Protective Services would be there like that. You can't keto a baby. So in my opinion, that falls in with the way to spread this message is gyms don't work. Nobody's innovated on them. LA Fitness, 24-Hour Fitness, Planet Fitness, great workout facilities, but they're the same. They just have different fun tools. Mm-hmm. What we do is we don't invest in gimmicks. We invest in kitchens. We invest in health. So the way we would expand is once we move into Denver, we have a lot of people that we're working with to get like a medical director as an official board of advisor. Right now we have a local one, Dr. Andrew Freeman. And he's awesome, and he I think you guys know each other as well. Yeah. And we've been talking to like JD Roth, who actually just put out a TV show. So I don't know what you know him, but he's actually.
I'm actually speaking with him in November.
Nice.
In St. Petersburg.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. Yeah, and he's an awesome guy, and so we've been talking to these people, and they love the concept, and just want to see that sustained growth. And I think with the influence of these people and just the movement of the direction of plant-based is. There's going to be a need, but I think you go Denver, you pick a plant-based friendly city like LA, where if it's popular in LA, you can pretty much sell it anywhere. Right. And and you do that as you transition through the United States. Ultimately, with franchising a smaller version in each small town that needs to be serviced, just the gym with the kitchen, nice and simple, like we have now. But yeah, so the growth I think is going to come through. One, the collaborative efforts that we're going to have with other people. As well as just the data to show someone like, hey, here are my members, health marks, whether you were doing BMI, which is not my favorite, body fat, doing any of these, cholesterol, triglycerides, and then, I go show you, here's the public. Well, if mine are that much better, each city's going to start calling for us. So that's where really I think, our growth lies is that, it works.
It does work. And honestly, my middle kiddo, Jonathan, he's 21, and he started out going to school in Junction and wanted to do physical therapy. Yeah. But he loves business. And so when we moved here, he transitioned schools into going to marketing, loves working out. I said, Jonathan, you need to open a gym with a kitchen. No kidding. We have talked about this since he was in high school. Yeah. And I think you are so onto it because honestly, it's like, if you can show someone how, there's smoothie bars. I know in Grand Junction at the Gold's Gym that we belong to, there was like some smoothie, but it's all exactly what you're saying. It's ketogenic, it's paleo, it's pushing whey protein, which is inflammatory, all these things. And I was like, we're a very active family. It's like, we can't be dating these young people. I mean, but I love that concept of how you're saying you couldn't raise a baby being ketogenic, right? No. You're not going to be a calorie restricting a child. No. And there's some amazing stuff that happens because I think if you really look at kids, that's really important. But I had, an 11-year-old in Grand Junction, fatty liver, overweight, fatigued, elevated liver enzymes. Whole family went plant-based on a budget, mind you. Molly mom's working, making just over minimum wage. 2 months later, completely gone and better. And wow, that's incredible. I love that so much. That is so cool. I'm so excited for you guys. Wow. With you had mentioned as you scale to a larger facility, a membership kind of concept. Yeah. What is that going to look like? Or do you know yet? Or are you still kind of playing around with that?
So there's a few things to play around with, but for the most part, so our membership at our current facility sits at $99 a month. What you get for that is you get one free cooking class every month. You get one nutritional consultation with one of our experts every month with an initial assessment. And you get a smoothie every single time you come to the gym for free. So it's no additional cost. Now, each month we have a certain flavor that you get. It's free, so I don't want to hear anyone complain about it or they're giving it to you. But it's going to be a real smoothie, right? Like the ones that are healthy. So I don't need any powders. I don't need any of that. We have fruit, frozen fruit, and we got almond milk. If they want soy milk, we can do soy milk. If they want oat milk, we can do oat milk. I don't care what kind of milk, but plant milk. Mm-hmm. And it's super simple. It's going to be like 4 ingredients, and we give that to them on the go. As we expand and add a medical component, that'll include a monthly checkup with our medical piece, whether that's a nurse or PA or, someone who has the actual, medical title that is put in the schooling work that I haven't done.
MD.
Yeah, one of those fancy letterings that I would,
Just 11 years of training. It's all good.
It's just, some mild training. So all of our personal training clients, which I think is very unique to most gyms, they get access to our facility. They don't have to pay a membership plus personal training. I think that's a farce. I think gyms that do that because they don't care about personal training because they don't know how to do it. They really just don't want you to show up. It is really the kicker. They prefer that. And we've also toyed with, as we grow, an accountability model where you get kickbacks the more you come. So the more often someone comes to our facility, the more rewards they get back, whether that be rewards and months off, or whether that be free services, whether that be gifts that we give them, Whole Foods gift cards. Because in my opinion, if you open a gym to make money, you're doing it wrong. If you open a gym to get people healthy, you're never going to die.
Right.
Gyms that open for money, they're typo. Awesome, but they're dead. And they do that every year, right? Like every year there's some new hot way to move, and everyone freaks out like that's the answer. The problem is it's not the way to move. It's how you're living. It's an overall lifestyle. Even if you're healthy and you're just a negative person all the time, that's going to be rough. Like you're going to get some ulcers and things that you don't want because you're just negative. So it's definitely a lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is so very true. I mean, I think with any business, you go into it, if you go into it service oriented, looking at your clients to make their lives better, what you can do to service them, you're going to succeed. I mean, if you find a niche that there's a need, a true need, then you will. And there's not a bigger need in America right now than getting healthy. I mean, everything rests on that. I mean, I was in the military. Our military is suffering. I mean, imagine if you guys could get on base with... That would be incredible. If I could get you guys in hospitals, the VA hospitals, I mean, there's just so many opportunities. I mean, but the military would be perfect because you have, not only do you have someone there pushing this activity component, but
they're moving, also, I know that.
And they have to eat well. So the thing is, though, they're not taught how to eat well. I mean, when I was in the Air Force, I was on a panel where we actually had to, discharge people because of type 2 diabetes and sleep apnea, because they can't deploy with me. I don't want to be deployed with someone who is ill. I can't.
It's a risk. It's an inherent risk to all of you guys. You can't.
Right. So that would be a fantastic place for you guys to go. For sure.
Oh, that would be incredible, and we would love to work with hospitals.
I mean, in just even every small doctor's office, big doctor's office, whatever specialty, registered dietitians, they go, okay, here's where you go. Yeah. This is the place. You have your trainers. You also have the kitchen. They're feeding you well. I mean, you're going to have. It's just so easy to get the results. I mean, honestly. This is not rocket science. This is feed them good whole foods. You'll have the success. People will do well. You're going to do fantastic. I mean, you guys are going to take off. It's fantastic.
Can't wait for that takeoff. That'd be nice. But no, it's coming.
Every bit has. I mean, every single start had. You hear about these startups like Whole Foods, I
love that whole story.
I mean. It's just incredible to me how they start and then they suffer and they almost collapse, and you hear the Airbnb story. And one of my favorite podcasts is How I Built This. Have you guys listened to that?
I've listened to that. My single favorite one is Sarah Blakely from Spanx.
Oh my goodness, that girl's got some.
She's the most amazing human I've ever, I was like, I'm never going to identify with this podcast. A female entrepreneur is different than male. She's selling a product. I don't sell products. I listen to it. I'm like, this is the best podcast I've ever listened. Oh my God. I mean, she still owns 100% of her company. That's incredible.
Billionaire.
And
selling, but look at what she went. She went to, what is the one thing besides weight? So this is the other thing. I was talking to Dr. Mark Ferris. He's a really cool behavioral health guy. He's an exercise physiologist down in Texas. It's my second podcast with him because I'm so fascinated with what everything he has to say. And he was talking about, there's an emotional component. So if I put someone on a scale I've weighed people over 500 pounds. I mean, but the way I frame it is like, that's the last time you're going to see that, because this plant-based diet's going to take care of this for you. But what happens is there's two emotions. He goes, they're going to get angry, or they're going to get very sad and despondent. And what is that? And so it may not be the number that they're looking at, but they may be looking at is that they're a failure, or, they're angry that they allowed themselves to get that way. And he's like, well, what emotional side of that is going to be more motivating? But he also said, well, what's their standard that they're looking at? Are they going to be using my standard that you're 5'7", you should weigh this much? Or are they looking at it at a different standard, saying, I want to fit into that little black dress. I want to look like whatever, movie star of the week on whatever magazine cover. So then you have to, as practitioners, look at what are their standards and start questioning before we even get to the behavior change. So he's talking about all this other stuff that happens before we get to actually doing something. I'm like, that is so incredible. It's just like, wow, it's incredible. So
it's nuts.
I mean, and it really is amazing to me, the number of people. You should come also to the American College Lifestyle Medicine. Do you come to so are you familiar with the ACLM?
Of the name, not of any of the events.
Yeah, so you can be a member, I believe, without being a medical professional.
A practitioner.
Yeah, so in October, they're actually having their annual conference. It's in Tucson, and they're actually offering their first board certificate. Well, it's not a board certification, but a certification in lifestyle medicine. So I'll be taking that. And it's really an amazing venue. But yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to check that out. It's the end of October. I think it's like the day before my birthday is when I'm moving. So the 22nd through the 27th or something like that.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah, you should definitely check it. It's some amazing people there to meet as well. So
yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. So there's so much more. I don't know how much time you have. Do you have?
I'm good.
Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit too about this online community that you guys have. And that's something that people can do right now after they're done listening to this podcast. And if they want to get a taste of you guys, where they can go. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so when we first opened, we came from Florida and Michigan, from all over the country, and so a lot of our following and people that we had helped had been in other places. So when we started our website and we were showing our client successes out here, we just got a lot of inquiries of like, hey, how can we do this? What do you guys have online? We weren't really trying to get in the online game. There's a lot of awesome resources of online workouts, this, that, and the other. I even saw some great services you have online to help people transition to plant-based. So there's already these amazing people out there that are doing this online. But what people wanted was kind of our interaction. They wanted our personalities and what they got used to. Which, hey, fair enough. If people like me, I guess that's cool. I think it's more Paige and Chase, but then we also, our website guy was like, you guys have a weirdly large following in the UK. We're like, okay, and it's because they're vegan there.
Do you know what? I listen because I can look at I look at who's listening to the podcast and just kind of get an idea. And I have a ton of people in the UK as well.
It's because they're vegan. So actually, I think last stat I heard was 16% of millennials in the UK are plant-based.
Really? And, Israel has a high percentage of vegans as well.
Yeah. So it's happening all over, which is why I think it'll be easy for me to hopefully open one in London and get to enjoy that. So backtrack. Rewind. Where were we at? I just went to London.
Online. I know, that would be a kind of a cool tip.
The online community.
Yes.
I lost you there. I think you cut out.
Are you back?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So online community. So we started this online community that it was $10 a month. And it was basically a secret Facebook group that we had a software on the front end you could join. And we loved it. We got all this interaction. We had people telling us their blood pressure up, or we got off blood pressure medication, or losing weight, or, just a million different things. And so due to the success of it, we've been able to move it over. So our Facebook page, Whole Health Club, acts as an online community with immediate response from pretty much one of the experts at Whole Health Club and support from a like-minded community. So a big one is, just to throw out an example is, hey guys, it's Sunday and I wanted to go out to eat and I live in Fort Lauderdale. What can I eat? Well, I can go find that immediately. That takes 2 seconds for me. And I'll go give you a million options. Sometimes I even ask what restaurant you're thinking of. Because I don't care if it's a steakhouse. Unless it's like a barbecue joint, that's about the tough one. I can usually find something to eat for someone.
Not IHOP. IHOP.
Okay, so there's another one. That guy, that's a tough one. You know, but if you're taking your date to IHOP, let's hope she or he really likes you, because, you know, not a date place. And, you know, or even one example would be like, hey, Sam, I don't know how to do a squat. How do I do that? You know, so like Chase all of a sudden posts a video in 5 minutes of how to do a proper squat. And so you get that immediate feedback. But my favorite part of it is when someone's like, I'm going to work. This is my job. I don't know what to do. And I have 10 comments before I even get to it because my community has reached out to her or him and supported them and helped them from their perspective, which to me is so important because I think often, you know, you probably get this even more than I do. As a doctor, they're like, you just don't get it. You're a doctor. It's easier for you because you just don't know. Or you're a trainer, Sam. You have a gym. You don't get it. So when my community members can tell them they get it, it's really hard to refute that. So if they go to Whole Health Club and they want immediate support on how to transition to plant-based, that's what we do. You do not have to be vegan. You do not have to be going vegan. You don't have to be going plant-based. Heck, if you want to learn to eat more plants because you don't like them, that's what we do. And I say the same thing about our gym. We're not a plant-based gym or a vegan gym. We're a gym that helps you to eat more plants. If you want to transition to veganism or plant-based, I'll help you. I can do it all the way. I am. But it's not about that. It's about just shifting the type of food we consume. And so I don't want anyone to put us in a box as a plant-based gym. And my argument or reasoning to that is I've seen a lot of people out there, all you guys watching, go to gyms and will happily hear the trainer tell you about how much protein you need, how little carbs you need, and you can still go to that gym. You don't pigeonhole that gym. That's just their modality and method to help you lose weight. Not a healthy one, but it's their way. Mm-hmm. And so when you come to mine, my healthy way is just eat more unrefined plant foods. And if you need a strict plan, I got you. If you need a written out diet plan for 3 months, we got you. But you just want to eat more plants, I got you. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, yeah. That's our online community.
So you have, how many people are in there right now?
So 1,300 awesome. On our Facebook right now. And I would say, like 60 plus extremely active numbers that are very comfortable with it now and use it. The other ones just like posts and share them here and there.
But you'd be surprised at how much people, even though they're not interacting, because I have online stuff and I'm online all over because I feel it's the easiest way to reach people. Yep. And I've met some amazing people like Bill, who introduced me to you. And I have so many pretty crazy stories about that. And, but there's like, I'll get messages from people who haven't been posting or said anything. And they're like, oh, I really like this. That means a lot to me. Can you help me do this? Or that meant this and I did that, So you're definitely affecting, or they're sharing it to someone who did something. That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's been fun, and we hope to share that. And again, you guys will see the team members on here. I like to talk, but they're the superheroes. You'll see them all over the Facebook. They're the ones that are going to change the world.
So your team members, well, I'm pretty sure you'll be a big part. Is Chase and Paige, right?
Yep.
So, and those are your cousin and his wife, right?
Yep. And ironically, I've known her longer than he has.
Oh, really?
So I met Paige before they ever met in 6th grade. So it's pretty funny. We've been best friends since forever. So it's
that's
perfect that she's in the family now.
Right, exactly. Oh, that's fantastic. So then Kayla, the chef, who else is on your team?
Yep. So those are kind of the 4 people that have been around. Kayla is also my girlfriend. And so she was, scheming with us. She just does the kitchen stuff, though. She's not an owner or that. She handles that because I don't want to. She knows it better than me. But our other team members are coming. So we have one of our team members' name is Austin Joseph, and he has a dietetics degree from CSU, a longtime plant-based person. And it's just like, uber passionate about helping people. I just couldn't say enough. A phenomenal writer, wrote a book. I should get you the name of that book because it's pretty awesome from a dog's perspective, so pretty unique. Love it. And a sad book, though, so get ready to cry a little bit, but necessary. And then we have Kenzie. Kenzie has a nutrition degree and a culinary degree from Johnson & Wales, as well as she's been an NPC competitor, which is a physique competitor. Everyone who's wearing bikinis on stage, for those who don't know NPC. And, she's a personal trainer and has been. And so she's, been really incredible. And then we have another woman who I met. She's one of the smartest humans I've ever met, and she's 2 PhDs, but she's a literal rocket scientist, aerospace engineer, and came to Whole Health Club, handed me this resume. It's like interviewing to be like a nutritionist. I was just like scratching my head. She's head of business development for a large company. I was just like, she speaks 3 languages. I'm just like, Helene, why, what's up? Like, why are you here? Like, what? I can't offer you what you have. And she goes, I just think plant-based is the future. And I think that, like, I want to tell people about this, and I want to make them know. And it was just super unique to hear someone in such a comfortable life position to want to come to be a part of this chaotic startup life. I'm not selling rockets. So her PhDs they mean a lot to me, because I'm like, dang, that takes a lot of dedication and intelligence to do so. And she took T. Colin Campbell's online nutrition course. So, that's all I needed to hear to know. She's, 50 plus years old, still runs marathons, half marathons, so those things for me spoke volumes. And she's a part of the team. It's kind of a nutritionist. We're still finding the best way to utilize someone like her. And then Dr. Angel Freeman is our volunteer medical director right now. He's the head of clinical cardiology at National Jewish. Amazing human, family man. His wife trains here.
Sweetheart too. Very nice guy.
Yeah, he's just the best. And Dr. Larry Cohen, who's down in Colorado Springs, is on our medical ambassador program, which basically is just a program that basically doctors endorse our methods and we're happy to be able to refer patients to our methodologies or refer patients to our online services. And so right now that's our other team. We also have another trainer. Her name's Kayla. Okay. She's newer, so we just brought her on. We're excited to really get her in the flow of things. And we do have a sales guy, Jake. He's the guy who's losing weight online that you saw that we did the blood work with. He's our sales guy.
Awesome.
And yeah, so right now that's our squad. And yeah, they're incredible people. And yeah, I'm just over the moon about them, and I'm excited to, fly by the seat of our pants and grow too fast and have to hang on.
No, it sounds like an amazing team. And that really is, it's so important for people to understand that when you have an amazing team, you're going to build that amazing culture and environment. Yep. And so that speaks volumes for your longevity. So that's very awesome. So is there anything else that, we've covered a lot. So is there anything else that you feel like we need to know about you or the gym or your memberships or anything?
Honestly, like I said before, I don't want people to think, we're a plant-based gym. First and foremost, Whole Health Club, everything we do is evidence-based. So if the evidence changes, like I've never been a proponent of a B12 supplement in my whole life. More of the evidence I look at, and I'd be curious on your opinion, is that doctors and researchers do recommend a B12 supplement. I eat a lot of fortified foods, and where I have changed my beliefs is I'm willing to take a B12 supplement now regularly because that's what the evidence shows me. And if the evidence, Greger says this, I think, in his PBS special that he did, he goes, if the evidence showed me that I could reverse heart disease with steaks and butter, do you don't think I'd be giving all of my patients steaks and butter? Do you know how easy it would be for me to cure people? And he goes, it's not that. It's just there's no evidence. And so, like, I'm not telling you this for my personal gain. I don't have supplements I sell. I don't have this secret formula I'm going to sell you to lose weight. I'm going to walk you into Whole Foods. I'm going to walk you into King Soopers. We're going to go to the produce section, and I'm going to say, these are my sponsors. These are Big Broccoli is, giving me all that money that they don't have. And that's what I'm recommending you to eat. So I just really want people to understand, like, we're a method of more plants. That's our method. If you want disease reversal, well, then you got to listen to us all out. But if you want to lose some weight and get healthy, you need to eat more plants. And that's really, the Whole Health Club way. It's we only talk about it from a health perspective, and if they're curious, an environmental perspective. I don't really talk about animal rights. If they want to talk from an ethical standpoint, we can do that off-site. It's too controversial and abrasive. So we just leave it to those two. Most people want to help the environment themselves.
So let's say you have a young athlete or parents with these high schoolers and they want to up their game. Because I know my kid, my youngest, they were all athletes, but Gabriel had a really unique talent for baseball. So he made varsity as a freshman, was starting team, playing shortstop, and wherever he played, he did well. He's a coachable kid. But as he went into his sophomore, he would catch. So as the senior catcher finished. So they're playing, it's 7 innings, right? In high school, but then they have a double header. And in Colorado, you have to, because it's such a short season, because it's so cold. And I never knew it can be so cold in May. Oh man. So but the kid would catch for 7 innings and then pitch maybe 5 or 6, and never tired, never had elbow issues, recovered. And the other parents are like, what are you doing? Yeah. I was like, well, look at what he eats. He's doing the training like everybody else. And so we had a time about 5 families eating some plant-based stuff. So it was really cool. But what if you have those type of families, or like, my kid is being injured or whatever, and they want to up their game, get one head up, or maybe they're going into their junior, senior year, they're looking at recruitment to college to play college sports. What, do you have anything special there? I mean, I'm sure Chase would be an excellent resource. And
yeah, I mean, that's right up Chase's alley. So like, I'm going to adjust the camera. So that's our big Spartan Love picture that Chase is in. So just the reason I mainly I showed that. So he was a strength coach there as well as played, and then at University of Florida. So when you talk about high performance athletes, those are 2 of, top universities in athletics, whether that be basketball, football, you can name it across the board. Right. So as far as the modality of how to move, like we've talked about, that's easy for him. Power cleans, whatever lift you need, that's nothing. What he wishes he knew at the time, because he was riddled with knee injuries, was a plant-based diet. Because like we talked about, like you were talking about, his pitching, everyone knows their elbows get bad, right? Tennis players, same thing. Distance runners, their feet and knees give out. Football players, everything gives out because it's just a brutal sport. But what we found is the same thing. So Chase is actually currently, I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. We're working with a guy named Brian Rogers, Brog, the Brog vlog. Check it out. But he's a UFC fighter, and he's out of shape right now. Been starting a business, got out of fighting shape, and is working with Chase, and he's going plant-based. He's doing it for 4 months, and so that's easy for me. I know he's never going back, and he's giving us 4 months because I know how he's going to feel. And for a fighter or a football player, people always hear distance runners are plant-based, this, that, and the other. But for fighters and football players, or people who are looking for power lifters, if you're talking about power output per body weight, well, plant-based is the way to go, because you're not going to have any fat, fat doesn't work for you. It's extra weight. You need muscle weight, which is, working functional weight on your body. And so Chase actually is working with a kid right now who wants to play college football, and we tell him to eat better. We try our best. Now we do understand that they're in certain situations, and so we kind of let them know, if you want to be set apart, think about all the stories you hear of Kobe Bryant being at the gym early. Addition to that story would be, this 16-year-old kid is eating this healthy. Why? He's 16. He could eat McDonald's and be fine. And because it's not about that, it's about the greater goal and ability to work out more. So long story short is, we put anyone on that type of diet. Chase actually has talked with Kirk Cousins, who's an NFL quarterback right now for the Redskins, and he has some interest in seeing what the plant-based is about, but he has the normal concerns, keeping weight on, this, that, and the other. Chase is creating a diet plan so that way it won't matter. But to go with yours, for athletes in general, the name of the game is removing inflammation. Whether you're lifting just to get bigger and stronger to have the beach abs, or you're a football player trying to run a 4.4, you need to train more often. And I don't know if people know how steroids work. They don't make you stronger. They allow you to recover quicker. So it allows those people can work harder. And they have to, or they're not going to get the results. Well, plant-based, guys, is a side effect free, only good ones, way to almost feel like you're on steroids. It's an immediate recovery. You can go again and again and again and again. And if you can train more, you're going to be better. So from an inflammation standpoint, there's not a single better diet to eat than a plant-based diet. For athletes, that's the name of the game. I'm going to give another shout out to Wilson Chandler, a Denver Nugget here, who went plant-based last year and had the best season of his career at age 30. And he was searching inflammation diets. He wasn't an animal rights guy. It wasn't about this. Didn't grow up on a commune. He grew up like all of us and wanted to be better at his craft and found plant-based. So kids are tougher. NBA players today got no excuse. You can get food delivered wherever, but I think if any kid, I would have loved to do that when I was younger, go plant-based.
Oh yeah, Gabe. Well, he was 13 when he switched over, and I mean, he's almost 19 now. So he enjoyed actually being the vegan kid. So that it was. Plus, my husband's Filipino, so they're all dark anyway. So he's the token Asian on western side of Colorado. So. Yeah. But yeah, that's really cool because even as I get closer to 50, I mean, when we went plant-based, when I would be running, because I've been running forever, 20 some odd plus years. I mean, I didn't have severe injuries. I was always smart in my training, but I know definitely my recovery went much quicker. So, I could do a half marathon every month and be fine the next day. I'd run in Estes Park half marathon, and it's just it's no big deal. And I never get sick. So for even someone who's, middle age, so to speak, and then I see my elderly patients who are walking around, I had one lady in Grand Junction who needed to have, she was told that she needed a knee replacement. Let's see how old she was she's in her 60s now. She was in her late 50s, and she had used to love to ride bikes, but her knee just swelled up. And she'd seen all the specialists, all the orthopedics, even gone over, to the specialists in the over in Vail, and they were remain nameless, but told you need to, you're gonna have to have a knee replacement early. There's all this inflammation, this surgery. Went through the diet before the 15 weeks was even over. Swelling's gone. She's riding her bike again. Life's returned to normal. Well, better than normal. And I mean, but it's true. But it's not even just those young people, right? It's people who've had injuries and had inflammation and had some type of disability recovering to the point that they can go back to hiking and enjoying what they've always done before.
Yeah, usually at a higher rate. I mean, right?
Yes.
Like you look at guys like Richroll.
Yeah. Oh,
dude,
yeah.
He didn't take care of himself for even his self-admitted, like pretty much since he left college, and all of a sudden he's an ultra marathon champion. Like, what the heck? Like, how did he do that? Started in his 40s, and like people don't understand that. Well, I'm 40 now, so it's all downhill. You're like, well, yeah, standard American diet. You're right. You hit the wall. Right. Plant-based, you're just getting started.
Right.
50 is the new 20.
Humans are just we're so resilient if we give ourselves the proper foundation and the nutrition. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Part of that resilience is how things like paleo get started, because we were resilient enough to eat meat when we had no options. And now that's been confused with we need it. It was like, nah, we're just pretty badass. We can do a lot, and surviving is not thriving. And so I think, that same resilience that we can heal ourselves is, that resilience is what was able to get us started on these crazy foods that we don't need anymore. It was our humans being resilient, not a, biologically food made for us.
Right. Exactly. No, you're exactly right. And I mean, and I tell people too, I was like, I've done a Tough Mudder up in Snowmass, and done Spartan races, and I'm like, done it with my kids, so grown children. So if I can do this, anybody can, because I didn't grow up necessarily being real athletic in high school. I mean, I was busy, going, I want to be a doctor, study. And, but, with the military and college, I got very active, but that was just, it's something that we could all enjoy and be partake of. And it's just,
I think you said the key word there, enjoy.
Yeah.
I think so often we have a thing that says, exercise is a celebration of your body, what your body can do, not a punishment for what you ate. And everyone comes in here, and I've even made the joke as a trainer, which I try not to, is like, you ready for your punishment? And it's not punishment. It's you still have the ability to do this, and you should enjoy that. And it doesn't, again, that's why we don't specify modalities here. Like, if you love Tough Mudders, hey, that can be the way you move. If, you love burpees, nobody does. That can be the way you move. So I think that's what it's about is, it's not a punishment. It's enjoyment. It's the fact that you can still do that, enjoy that, because we've all had the grandparent we've had to take care of, or push in a wheelchair, or, even worse, a parent, because it's going to happen. It's to all of us. And it's the celebration of what your body can do, and showing them like, Tough Mudders, and all of it's possible. It's just,
And, and I think people forget we've become so accustomed that sickness is normal. Like, sickness is not normal, people. We were born to be well and thrive, and live our lives fully doing all the things we're here on earth to put to do, and then die quickly. Yes, we're all going to die. I'm not saying we're not going to die,
Right.
but we shouldn't live life ill. The
And we
majority of us
die for a long time.
Right.
You know, I don't want to spend 16 years dying.
No, or sitting in a nursing home, because, you know, the saddest part about being a family doc was going into the nursing home, because I did full spectrum family medicine. So, you know, you're from newborns to 100 and whatever. You go to the nursing home and there's people there, they're just drooling on themselves. They don't move. They're all, you know, withered up in wheelchairs. And their families come in and say, oh, they were such a brilliant math teacher, or the lawyer, or this music, you know, musician, and they could play these amazing concertos or whatever. I mean, I heard so many amazing stories, and it was just so sad to see that that was inevitable, that that was going to be the result of what they've done in their life. You know, the eating, the smoking, and all this stuff, these lifestyle choices. And it just doesn't have to be that way. So.
Right. And I mean, maybe one last thing, we'll see if it stops here. But one of my thoughts about, like, when you're asked to go back to way back, if there's anything else I want people to know, in my opinion right now, we don't, like, when we talk about healthcare, everybody talks about hospitals. My opinion, that's disease care, right, in America. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I would love it to get to healthcare, but I don't know if it needs to. I think it needs to stay at disease care. I think the issue is right now, healthcare is really not your responsibility as my doctor. I need you for when stuff goes haywire. Me, I broke a lot of bones. I need a doctor for that. A lot of plants, you know, maybe they'll help my hip fractures from molded, but the way I broke bones, no amount of plants is going to help. So I need a doctor then. What I in my head look at as healthcare is it's these other things we're doing before the doctor. It's I turned 30 and I look down and I have a belly. So my healthcare is whatever I chose to do. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's a fad diet. But that's healthcare. Or they go to the gym. That's healthcare. The problem is, and I have a great graph to show it at some point. Maybe I'll just post it. And obesity has gone up at the exact same rate as adult gym participation. I have a graph, and it's directly correlated, and it should be inversely correlated. The more I attend, the less big I am, or less unhealthy I am. Right. And so what Whole Health Club aims to do is to honestly be the true version of healthcare. And if you are trying to go take care of your health before, I mean, we can also help you after, but before, so you don't have to end up being best friends with your doctor, because if you are best friends, hopefully it's not because you're there all the time, it's because you guys like each other. And what we want to do is be actual healthcare. When people come to our facility, there's not this, you know, fakeness of the results that they're going to get. And none of it's weight focused. I don't want, if people come to me and say, I want to lose a bunch of weight, I'll go, okay, what's first? You need to get healthy. You know, you're not unhealthy because you're overweight. You're overweight because you're unhealthy. And that distinction is crucial, and that helps in so many aspects. And so really what Whole Health Club is we are healthcare. We are what these other people are claiming and trying to do as healthcare, and they haven't figured it out yet. And we figured it out with the gym, with, you know, reaching out to doctors like you and Freeman and getting your opinions, making sure what I'm teaching is going to get people not skinny, but healthy. Right. And so we want to be healthcare. We want to bridge the gap and be that interim before you go to the doctor, before cancer happens. I'm going to give you your best shot at not getting it. So right. You come to me. So that's really why we do Whole Health Club, and what we aim to be when we put them in every community is, yes, we're a gym on the surface, but really we're a healthcare facility.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. You're the healthcare before the doctor gets involved. So, you know, that's exactly right. Instead of focusing on, oh, I need to lose this weight just so I can look good for this period of time, but still be unhealthy, I'm actually changing my life. So maybe I don't have to go see that doctor. But you're exactly right. In medical school, we're taught, you should be taught as acute care, acute, you know, in the ER. Like my youngest wants to go into to become an ER doc and we did rock climbing and stuff like that. Yeah. He wants to do that crazy stuff. Yeah. You know, that makes sense. But when you go to medical school and you're going through and you're learning the disease process, and we learn one disease at a time, of course there's a system approach, but they teach you, okay, this medication will lower your blood pressure. And then you do this one for the cholesterol. And, you know, yes, there's side effects, and yes, there's interactions, and you're going to have a computer to do, there's so many medications now. Yeah. But they don't teach us how to deal with this polypharmacy and these multiple chronic diseases. And then on top of that, beyond the fact that now these people are sick and they're here all the time, that cost is the mental anguish that these poor souls are going through at being ill, because it's not natural to be sick.
Right.
So you're exactly right. You're going to hit such a raw nerve with your clients that once they get hold of feeling well, and I found that that's what works so well with my patients, is once they get hold of feeling well, they're like, I ain't going back. Yeah. So it's a pretty powerful message and a powerful tool that you're putting in their hands. And the cool thing is they're in charge of it. It's not like they have to go to me to have a pill to feel better.
Right.
They're going to you to learn how to cook and work out and actually take control of their lives. That's fantastic.
And one thing I tell doctors is send them my way. I don't have red tape to deal with. I'm not stuck in that difficult medical industry to get anything done. Like, there's no way it should have taken Dean Ornish 20-some years to get his program that has 91% success rate in the hospitals. That's nuts. Like, we approve drugs that are 30% successful. Dude's 90% successful. It took him 20 years. So, like, I don't have to take 20 years. Nobody's over my head with red tape. So, doctors, if you want your people to eat right, I can do it.
Right. Exactly. You know, and that is unfortunate with, you're talking about the Medicare program for disease reversal. Yeah. And then the thing is that when you do that, you got the Medicare involved. There's all this red tape just to even get it in your hospital. Cause I looked at that too, to bring it to Rifle. It's expensive. And you have to have a physician, a registered dietitian, and all these, you know, like 4 or 5 faculty or you know, committed individuals to run the program. I was like the lone wolf for a long time in Rifle, Colorado. And so I was like, I just can't do that. So I found other ways. But I actually brought a friend of mine. I don't know if you've ever heard of Martin Oswald. He has a plant-based, mostly plant-based restaurant in Aspen. And then he has another one in Basalt. This Pyramid Bistro.
What is the name of the restaurant in Aspen?
Pyramid Bistro.
Because we are actually running an event with a plant-based event in Aspen at St. Regis.
Oh, you totally need to go by and stop by. It's on that main street. Pyramid Bistro, Martin Oswald. Tell him Lori sent you. We are best of buds. He is amazing, but he came down and worked with Rifle in our kitchen in our hospital. And we ran a 30-day program and got 26 employees. And it was really cool to see these people who were like, you know, I lured them in with the you're going to lose weight, you're going to feel good. And, you know, 30 days later, they're no longer pre-diabetic, no longer diabetic, hypertension meds, feeling better, you know, and all of that good stuff. But
isn't it crazy though that that's the standard for us, that we're just like, oh yeah, all that, no longer diabetic. Like, that blows people's minds. And to us, we're like, no, that's just normal.
This is like bread and butter anymore. So it's like,
it's nuts.
It is. I would have never dreamed, you know, years ago when you walk out of medical school saying that I would have the tools or the capacity to reverse type 2 diabetes.
Right.
Or reverse heart disease.
I still get pushback on that. I tell them, I go, follow my plan. Like, here's another video, here's another story. But it's crazy that it's already commonplace to us and that the public still has this got to go. Like, yeah.
You know, like with any movement, there's your innovators, which I think is Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Dean Ornish, and all these guys. And then you've got your first, you know, your next ones, your ones that the first to come on, and then you'll get the rest of them. And then there's a tipping point and all this stuff. But it's just so frustrating that when you're in that mix, it's like this back and forth tug of war, and it'll happen. It's happening. I think it's happening. I mean, there's more young people like you and all these amazing people doing stuff like this. Is incredible. And
I got plenty of info because, you know, I'm always talking to investors of showing them how this movement's growing. And, you know, one of the biggest examples is 60% of all millennials, which just so all you baby boomers know, we're the future. So, you know, we're going to be the biggest wealth exchange in the history of the world when it goes to the millennials. But 60% of them already consume a plant-based meat, whether they're vegan or not.
Wow, and I did not know that.
So, like, when I'm trying to introduce Beyond Burger to a millennial, they're not bad an eye at it. It's my dad. It's the 55-year-olds that have been eating something for 50 years, and that terrifies them. So there's so much bright on the horizon in the future, and I do want to tell you, because I think you were Aspen located-ish for a while, about what we have going on, because I don't think I've told you. Do you know who Matthew Kenny is? He's a great high-end plant-based chef. He owns Plant Food and Wine.
That
in
name
LA.
sounds really familiar.
You'll know him. So he's incredible. I think he's at the forefront of hot cuisine, high-end cuisine as a plant-based guy. And so he has restaurants all over the world: London, Milan, LA, Miami. And so he runs retreats in Miami. We're actually running retreats with him in Aspen, and it's going to be a 30-person retreat at a St. Regis Hotel, nice luxury accommodations, all the meals curated by him, and then yoga and meditation practices done by Paige, and talks and workouts led by Paige and Chase with Matthew Kenny in Aspen. So we're pretty excited about that. I think once you look Matthew Kenny up, you'll know, and you'll have to shoot me an email once you check on it.
I think I've heard a podcast. Someone had interviewed him. I've listened. I love podcasts. They're the best. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, no, but you'll definitely have to stop by and meet Martin. He's from Austria. His wife's from Scotland. They're fun. He loves to live up in Aspen because of the skiing, and it's a pretty incredible. He's a pretty incredible guy. And then my friend up there, Chris Miller, Dr. Chris Miller. She's gone plant-based as well. She's integrative medicine. She works with a bunch of people. There's more of us now than 5-6 years ago when I started anyway, because there was nowhere to go to say, at least I didn't know it, to say when I started looking, I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, how do I teach my patients about this? Because it was a patient that came in and said her meat and dairy upset her stomach, and I said, well, stop eating meat and dairy. And I said, I knew intuitively she'd be okay, but I didn't realize, that's a plant-based diet. She came back in 30 days. She felt better, but her daughter, 16, went on the diet with their mom in Rifle, Colorado. Had to go buy groceries because there's no restaurants that are going to be serving yips and bean burgers, right? So they were cooking whole foods because I just said, all I said was stop eating meat and dairy. She came back, 16 years old, stopped 2 ADD meds on her own in 30 days. I was like, her mom's like, Dr. Marbus, why was she able to do that? I said, I don't know, but that is so cool. So dove in and found the China study, and it was, everything's changed since then. So
that's incredible. And I think, we don't need to talk forever, but mental health is a huge one. I grew up a product of ADHD, and I really do think I have a much clearer head now. I was off medications in sixth grade and on, but I wasn't plant-based until, post-college. So it's been incredible for me to have a clear head now. That's the best way I can explain it. If any ADHDers out there, you know what I mean? Getting a clear head feels good. So having that is great.
Well, and then just even having people, and kind of a new thing I was noticing in regular practice was these adults are coming in. It's like, I think I have ADHD. Maybe I wasn't, addressed as a child. And I was like, it sounds like you're not sleeping well. There's a lot of stress. And so changing their diet almost always fixes that. What you're describing is that, unable to focus, that cloudy feeling. But it's just a matter of getting better, more restful sleep. There's so much to it. I mean, we could definitely talk
forever, right? Yeah. But I mean, I also think the unfortunate part about the adults is, Adderall is effective at what it does. And I think people misuse it instead of take the easier side effect free route, because as people, if you're thinking that's a great idea, there are side effects that come with it, and I dealt with them from 1st to 6th grade. So be weary, because broccoli's got no side effects, but I feel amazing.
And those people don't understand, medicines can harm you. Okay. If you look at all of the medical errors and side effects, medicine is the third killer of all Americans. And so it's insane to me that people just say, I'll ask them, like when they would come to see, the reason I moved down to Florida was to work with Dr. Joel Furman and open up a clinic here. Unfortunately, our funding got pulled. But during that time, I'm getting people from all over the country, some in other countries, and I'm asking, well, what meds? Some people would come and they wouldn't even know what medicines. Well, I just put them in the little pill box. I didn't know I would need to bring what they were. I'm like, the whole idea is for you to get better. You're staying a month with us, 2 months or 3 months. I kind of need to know what you're taking. And so they didn't know what they were taking. They didn't know interactions. I had one gentleman coming in, 16 medications, had previously been a lawyer on disability for a variety of things. We got him off all those medications. And one of his most severe problems was severe vertigo. Looking at the side effects, 9 of those medications cause vertigo. I was like, so how am I to know which one, if I'm your regular doctor, which one is causing the vertigo?
Yep.
If I'm just laying one pill on top of another. They never stop pills. They just add more pills.
Yep.
And we have to change our philosophy of medicine. Like you
and
said.
More plants.
And more plants, exactly. Philosophy of medicine, and let's look at the real root of the problem and what we're eating. It blows my mind that people don't understand that food is the root of your health or illness. I mean, it's like, yes, there's some other stuff, genetics and stuff, but the majority.
But even when they hear genetics, they hear it wrong, right? They don't know about epigenetics. They don't know about expressing genes. So it's too simple as the issue.
Microbiome. Right? Yeah, there's so much that we don't even know. We think we know. Doctor, we don't know. We know a lot, but we don't know much.
What we know is plants heal and do not harm. That's what we know, and it's that simple. Like, I don't know, in my opinion.
No, it is that simple. It really is that simple. And granted, but then we have the medicines and stuff for those who are outside of that, the acute injuries, the cancers, the other stuff.
They would both improve at the same rate. If we improved our doctors' nutritional knowledge, they would only become better in every aspect, better at pharmacological, knowledge, better at everything. So it's just improving. It's not going to hurt anything. It's the best part.
And I think doctors are really, one of my theories is, kind of like social contagion. So you have doctors here, they say the people you around, even the people you don't know, but your friends, you're at risk of obesity or whatever. Doctors can be that message of good health through nutrition, because we have all of these contexts where, we're looked at as figures of authority. We have that ability. So if we can get more doctors on board to do this, better. So I've done my part. I birthed 3 babies, and 2 of them are going to be doctors, and one of them's boyfriend's plant-based and be a doctor. So they're med school.
Hey, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I'm not birthing anymore, though.
No more. Now we're just convincing people.
Right, exactly. So this has been a lot of fun, Sam, and thanks everyone for listening. And then, so what is your website? So I'll send the link.
Yeah. So wholehealthclub.com, nice and simple. Facebook is Whole Health Club. Instagram is Whole Health Club. Our Twitter is WHC Denver 1. And check it out. And I'm excited to get to see you at a conference coming up here. So
real soon, exactly, within the week. All right.
Sunday. So
thanks for listening, everyone.